Hi, everybody. I'm Brian, Professor B. Davis. Welcome to a special edition of Saturday evening edition of 49ers Live, the aftermath, kind of the Saturday, Friday, and Saturday edition on Niners Radio 49. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. The Niners, this is the aftermath. We usually do this on Mondays, but because of the Thursday night game, unfortunately weren't able to do it last night because I just had had a lot of the things that I was tired. So apologize for we didn't have the show last night. But we're on right now. We're here in beautiful downtown Berkeley, in the East Bay in Berkeley, downtown Berkeley, right on near, not far from the campus of University of California, here in the East Bay in Berkeley. Professor B here, right on the strip of downtown Berkeley, where you can see the backdrop. A lot of people come on here on this Saturday night. Welcome to 49ers Live. We're going to have a real bit of a short, condensed show tonight. We're going to take a look back at Thursday night's win over the Seattle Seahawks, and then, we'll hopefully enjoy the rest of your weekend. Niners will have a few days. This is kind of their mini bye. They will get back to work on Monday. They'll take on as they prepare to take on the Kansas City Chiefs in the rematch of last year's Super Bowl 1 week from tomorrow. And there's plenty of tickets available for that game. There may be some. Go to Ticketmaster.com, 49ers.com/Ticketmaster, /Ticketmaster if you want to, for Ticketmaster. So make sure you get that as well. So it's going to be a sellout. The Niners are home 1 week from tomorrow. We'll be right back out there for that. And then 2 weeks from tomorrow night, and that game next Sunday will be a late window, 1:25 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That will be seen on Fox. And I believe the number one team, Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady, will be out there for that game for next Sunday, 1 week from tomorrow. Then 2 weeks from tomorrow night will be the Sunday night game against the Dallas Cowboys, a rivalry renewed. And that will be on NBC Sports. In 2 weeks from time, there will be Mike Tirico and six-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady will give you the be Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth with the action at the Mecca at Levi's Stadium. We got a lot going on with the next few weeks, and hope you join us then. Just been busy like crazy with a lot of other obligations, so I'm just grinding. And today, just come up here to Berkeley to check it out. We're going to recap the game. Niners were winners on Thursday night. They win the game by a score of. They end up winning by a score of 36-24. Just look at the final statistics of the games. The Niners end up racking up 483 total net yards of offense to Seattle. The Seahawks 9. Penalty yards 69 for the Seahawks. The Niners 34. Time of possession, Niners 33 minutes and 3 seconds to the game. Brock Purdy and rushing is Ivan Guardano. I still pick a big steal in the draft late. 10 carries for 99 yards. Had the big 67 yards late in the fourth quarter. They're pretty much all intents and purposes carries for 73 yards. 7 yards, 21 is the longest. Juan Jennings only caught 3 balls for 27 yards in the contest. So, and then the final number for Seattle, Geno Smith, 30 of 52, 312 yards, 1 touchdown, but he threw 2 big interceptions. And then Tyler Lockett, the veteran, 4 catches for 67 yards. DK Metcalf only caught 3 balls for 48 yards, no touchdowns. Lockett caught a touchdown. He's always been a Niner killer over the years, going back to the time of the Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll era. So That's how the story went. So with the win, the Niners go to 3-3. They're now in first place to themselves for the moment. Now, you look at the action on Sunday. Arizona Cardinals will be playing the early game, the early window. They'll take on the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field, and that's going to be an early game. And the Niners got to be Packer fans. Another team everybody the Niners have hated over the years, the Green Bay Packers. That's an early game. The Niners right now, if the Cardinals were to lose tomorrow, then the Niners will be in first place by have undisputed sole possession of first place outright to themselves. Of course, they already have beaten the Seahawks head-to-head. But if the Cardinals were to win tomorrow, they would jump ahead of first place to both the Niners and the Seahawks because the Niners already, or the Cardinals already have the tiebreakers over both, multiple tiebreakers over both the Niners and the Seahawks, based of the head-to-head win over the Niners, head-to-head, and also head-to-head because Arizona is already now 2-0 in the division. So those two losses, last week against Arizona, and then nearly almost 3 weeks ago against the Rams, are two, and are the ones that they gave away. The Niners right now could be at least 5-0 or at worst 4-1, probably with, if not a 3-game lead, at worst 2 games or 1 game up. But it is what it is. We got to move the page, got to move forward. Niners now have beaten the Seattle Seahawks now 6 straight times. They've beaten them 6 straight times, and I'm going to take a look at this this file. So taking a look at the all-time results. This is from Football Database. Is a great resource. I advise anybody to take a look at this. It's footballdb.com, and you look at the season's all-time series. Niners have now beaten them 6 in a row, but put this in contrast, in perspective, going way back. This series goes back to 1976. The Seahawks played only 1 full year in the NFC back in 1976, while their expansion counterpart, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was in the AFC Central. Then in 1977, the Seahawks moved to the AFC West, and of course they were rivals with the Denver Broncos and the Raiders and Chargers and Chiefs for all those years. This is going back to the Jim Zorn, Steve Largent teams. And then, of course, the Niners picked up their first ever win versus Seattle back on September 29th, 1976, up at the Kingdome in Seattle. And then the Seahawks came back here in 1979 to the Bay Area, beating the Niners 35-24. And they had a really good offensive team. And but the Niners at one point, when they were in the AFC, when there was those two teams in the AFC, would apologize for the fire trucks going by here down there in Berkeley. The Niners, of course, would then, after in 1985 on, would go on would win 5 of the next, they would win the final 3 games against the Seahawks as a member of the Seahawks. In fact, the Niners between 1979 through 97, the Niners were 3-2 versus the Seahawks. Had a 3-2. They had a 3-2 edge in interconference play versus the Seahawks when the Seahawks were in the AFC West. And I could also remember as a kid, the Niners always played a lot of games against the Seahawks in preseason. And I remember when the Seahawks came out here, then I think they went to a couple preseason games. The Niners will traditionally always wear their white at home during preseason, and the Seahawks wore their blue, their throwback. In fact, it was great to see both teams wear the throwback uniforms. I'm a big fan of the Seahawks old school throwbacks from the AFC West years, wearing their throwbacks, and they looked really unique with those uniforms. Both teams. I mean, puts me back to my childhood and my teenage years, and they look good with those last night, or on Thursday night, I should say. Niners. So then after that, in 2002, we'll go up a little bit more. 2002, the first year of the new divisional and conference realignment, Seahawks moved back to the NFC West, and they were there, and the Arizona Cardinals joined the NFC West, and the Seahawks, 49ers that first year beat the Seahawks 31-24. It was on that Monday. It was on mid-October, 28-21. Correction, and they won that game on Monday night, and then on the December the 1st, they beat the Seahawks again, 31-24. But then they swept the season series the year the Niners ended up winning the NFC West. But then after that, the Seahawks went on a tear. After Steve Mariucci was fired after guiding the Niners to the division title in 2002. 4 playoff appearances in 6 years, which was not bad despite the challenges between 1999 through 2000, the 2 years when they didn't make the playoffs, when they finished under 500 with the salary cap issues and all the dead money cap. By 2003, Dennis Erickson takes over the former Seahawks coach, Dennis Erickson, who was there up in the Pacific Northwest with Seattle from 94, 5 seasons there from 94 to 98, never finishing better than 500 at best. Took over the Niners, and the Niners, his first year there went 7-9. The next year was 2-14. But this was a stretch where the Seahawks would win their next 6 games between San Francisco against the 49ers from 2003 to 2006. Through those lean years of Dennis Erickson, and then they dominated when Mike Holmgren was the head coach of the Seahawks, the former offensive coordinator, took over that team in 1999. And Holmgren, of course, guided the Seahawks to a division title in 1999. Holmgren, for the years, was an offensive coordinator with the 49ers before going to Green Bay. Had great success with the Packers, taking it to 2 Super Bowl wins, and then after that, when Holmgren dominated the 49ers for so many years, local guy with graduated from Lincoln High School, and then, was a football coach at Sacred Heart Cathedral. It was not a good football program at the time, and then I'm trying to think. I think he was head coach over there somewhere in the Bay Area at Oak Grove High School, where he quarterback a very young Marty Morningweg, who was the offensive coordinator with the 49ers with Steve Mariucci. So there's a lot of Bay Area ties with this long-time rivalry between the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. And, so there is a lot of, so there is a lot of history between those two teams, between with the rivalry, the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks, going long, long, long back. So then after that, in 2010, and then so the Seahawks ended up winning 6 of the next 8 games. The Niners took a pair from the Seahawks in Mike Nolan's second year in 2006. They won 20-14. Then they won 24-14 up in that rainstorm up there in Pacific Northwest, and that in mid-December, that put the Niners right in the thick of the playoff chase for a division title, and they nearly missed out on the division by 2 games. And the 49ers fell just short of the division title, and many people felt it was a rebuilding year for the 49ers, a second year as Mike Nolan was rebuilding the 49ers. And then after that, the Seahawks ended up sweeping San Francisco in 2007, beating them twice, 23-3. Then they shut out the Niners on Monday Night Football, 24-0. Niners had after starting a 3-0 start, they were hit by injuries, and they really went, and the offense just sputtered. And defense played pretty well, but if you don't score points, you're not going to be. And the Seahawks in those 2 games in 2007, the Niners only scored 3 points in the 2 games. But then you look at it after that, then the team split the next 2008, 2009, 2010. The 2 teams ended up splitting the next 2 games out of the next 6 games between 08 through 10 within the next 3 years. The Niners, they end up splitting the 2 games against the Seahawks, winning. They split the next 2 games after that. Got the lights on here, and they're splitting the next 2 games in 2008 and 2009, and then put the next 6 games, and then Jim Harbaugh takes over in 2011. They beat the Niners, or Niners beat the Seahawks twice, and Pete Carroll came in 2010. Harbaugh comes in, Carroll comes in there from USC in 2010. And then you had Pete Carroll comes in. Harbaugh comes there in 2011. Niners, and I was at the first game in 2011 where they end up beating the Seahawks 33-17. I think Ted Ginn Jr. in that game had a kickoff and a punt return for a touchdown. And the reason why I bring that up was because he was a big factor on special teams, and he was injured in the Eagles fumbled that football. So after that, the Niners would split again. They would win 19-17 on a Thursday Night Football, and I remember that 12 years ago at Candlestick Park. Doing both the outfit and my 49ers outfit. They won that